And we're back. Back again. Tell all your friends. Hi, everyone. This is Talking Shit with the Yank.
And the Brit.
Yay! I told that you knew I was really hesitant to do the intro.
You nailed it. Well done.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. As you heard, this is Talking Shit with the Yank and a Brit. I'm Kate, and here with Gemma, and we're going to talk to you about some shit and stuff.
And stuff and shit and things. Because that's what we do here. And if you're new here, then thank you for joining us on this wonderful journey that we're on. And if you're a regular listener, then it's so good to have you back again. I don't know why I was doing a southern accent.
I liked it, though. I just, you do accents so well, and you still haven't really kind of, well, I mean, I think you've given us little breadcrumbs of your different accent ability, but I haven't been able to be like, okay, do Scouser, and now do Babe Farmer, and then do, the only way is Essex.
Well, one day we'll do that. Maybe I could read some of the tales we've got today in different accents for you.
Hey, I like that. Do that.
I'll do that then.
That makes me think of that clip I sent you, though, a while ago, where it was like I think it was like blind date spoof or Love is Blind spoof, where you can't see the person and the woman's just like, I love British guys. And then it's all these guys with different British accents, and the woman's like, oh God. She was thinking like Hugh Grant British.
Yeah.
And that is not what all of Britain sounds like.
No, not at all. Sorry to disappoint anyone who thinks that we all talk incredibly posh and a stuttering,
Charming.
nervous, charming English
British
people.
Well, and I guess the stereotype you guys have for Americans is kind of some of the more extreme versions too, right?
Yeah.
Though I think only probably one person ever said that they liked my accent over there. And I was like, why? Ew.
Ew, why? See, this is my go-to. I always do California.
That is some impressive vocal fry you have going
Thank
on
you.
there. Oh my God. I just sound like I'm from The Ring.
So we've got a juicy little update from last week's Am I the Asshole?
You know you are, baby.
Beautiful. So just to refresh your memories, it was Am I the Arsehole for telling my fiancé that if he expects me to contribute 50-50, we have to make some serious life changes. We discussed the possibility of him, I don't know, having a gambling problem or being circled into
Circle jerked.
circle jerked. Anyway, an update's been posted and I think we need to share.
I agree.
Hi everyone. This got way bigger than intended, so I figured a follow-up was owed. So last time I posted was on Monday. Monday as a whole was spent just sorting out what I felt what to do next. There was a lot of silence and a lot of anger and a lot of Reddit advice, some of which I found very insightful, some of which less so. Also, some people think I made this up as part of a viral marketing sponsorship between Buffalo Wild Wings, Aldi and Zillow, which honestly would solve the money problems if true, but alas, it's not the case. On Tuesday, after I got home from work, I sort of just walked up to him on the
Elliptical.
Yep. I was like, how do I pronounce that word?
Weirdly remember that because it's like, oh, he's just on the elliptical. And she's like, now's a good time.
Okay. And explained as calmly as I could that I had questions. And if he actually wanted to marry me, he needed to be willing to answer them. I asked if he thought I was a gold digger, yes or no. He said yes.
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
She ain't messing with no broke.
No broke, but broke.
I told him that I wasn't willing to be in a relationship where I have to prove myself by sacrificing any sort of stability that led to a bit of a screaming and that led to a bit of a screaming match and eventually a confession. Dun, dun,
Bum,
dun.
bum.
So, it turns out we can't afford anything we have right now. We are in serious credit card debt.
Hmm.
The cars are both on the verge of being repossessed, and I did not know about any of this. He's been cutting corners on actual necessities, including psychiatric medication. That, in combination with some comments from his family, led to some pretty dark places. My fiance had a full breakdown and apologised for calling me a gold digger, which was nice to hear, but this whole thing had me pretty shaken up.
Mhm.
I went to stay with a friend for a bit. Yesterday, my fiance and I did, in fact, go out to BMW and get oh, sorry, no, to BWW, which is Buffalo Wild Wings, for
Yep.
anyone wondering, to get the 2-for-1 boneless. We talked a lot. I'm still writing fiance for now, and I really hope we can work through all of this. We talked about how to sell the cars. I don't particularly have a choice at this point, and about my income, his income, and the sort of life we want to have. If we do stay together, we'll be changing how we live a lot. We need to get out of debt. We need to get on our feet. I know some people are going to say that I'm being dumb for not immediately dropping all contact and giving up on the relationship, but I can't do that. I can't look at the guy I love who went off his meds to try and make a good life for me and think he's not worth sticking around for, or at least try. I don't know what the future looks like at all anymore, and the wedding is very much postponed at the moment. Sorry, this wasn't more of a fun update.
I love being right. While we probably didn't specifically say what the actual truth was, I think we both, definitely felt like there was something going on that he wasn't being honest about.
Mhm.
Um, I think I thought he was maybe doing this really avoidant passive aggressive thing to get her to, like, call off the engagement, break up with him.
Yeah,
And maybe there was still some of that too, I don't know, but, like, definitely there was something there that he was hiding
there
that
was
was
something
driving
going
this.
on.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not a surprise, given kinda how he approached her and what he said he needed, that it's just a ton of debt. Because I think you said, Gemma, maybe, like, is something going on with his job
Mm,
that he lost it or, like, something with money? Um but I think it was pretty clear, just based on not knowing anything about these people except for what was written in the post, that he was trying to resolve an issue without having to confess that he fucked up in some
yeah.
way. I also think it's funny that they went to Buffalo Wild Wings to get the meal deal and discussed their relationship problems. That's very romantic in a way.
Yeah, I guess. It seems to be a lot of people have this problem where they live above their means. Because you can get everything on credit these days. People are like, oh, I just got a really nice car and just pay it
Mhm.
off. And it's like, well, guys, you can't actually afford it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing it.
I see that a lot in my line of work as like kind of a factor in maybe separation for, the cases I have where people are getting divorced. Just and like some secrecy around spending and stuff
Mm.
like that. And then
Happens a lot in the fraud world as well, actually.
oh, oh, I bet.
Because
Say
people buy
more.
cars they can't afford, or they could afford it and then they lose their job. So they manufacture their car getting stolen or something like that.
But you always figure them out, don't you, Gemma?
I always catch those bad guys. That's what I do.
Well, so we don't often, I think, follow up on those, but that one I became aware of quickly because one of our listeners shared
Thank
with
you.
us, hey Matt, that there was an update kind of like really quickly after I think our episode published. So we thought it was important to,
Mm.
you know, continue that saga.
That's what we do. We live to serve, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Speaking of kind of relationship issues and maybe poor communication and stuff, I think we thought it would be fun to kind of do a little bit of a, revisit of some of the conversations we've had in the past about love and dating and kind of also tying it in with a little bit about, you know, toxic masculinity and all of that. Though I think it probably would be important to say that, like, women also can contribute to really horrible dynamics in relationships
Mhm.
too. It's not always men. Um,
And there will be examples of such.
okay, I'm excited to
Mm.
hear. I also, I think I'm comfortable admitting that I too have probably committed some cardinal sins in relationships of just being, kind of horrible or not forthcoming or a poor communicator and stuff. So, we're not perfect. I think you and I can recognize that because we're very, very self-aware and mature and insightful beings at our
Mm.
age.
But it's taken some time to get there, Kate, hasn't it? You
Yeah, it's
know,
a learning
you
process.
don't reach perfection like this. Just you're not born with it.
No,
It's something you
it's
have to
maybe it's
learn.
Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
So, I know you have something you wanna share with me. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so I just came across this article. Is again based on Reddit because I just live on Reddit because that's what I do in my spare time. And someone asked, "What's something that happened on a first date that made you decide against a second date?" And lo and behold, some of them are fucking hilarious. So, just want to read some for you.
Maybe to us, but not to the people
Not to the
experiencing it.
people though. Okay, so number one. He used his pocket knife to cut me a slice of cake and later scraped some dirt clumps off his shoe with the same knife.
Oh,
I asked him if he'd ever cleaned his knife, and he replied, "No, why?"
it gets nice and seasoned that way.
Adds to the flavour.
Ugh.
He also confessed to me that he was madly in love with me the same day. We had just met.
Oh, no, that wasn't the first time he met you, baby. Might have been the first time you met him.
He's been watching you for a while
I've
with
been
his
watching you.
mud clump knife.
It makes me think of poop knife. I ugh.
Oh, we really are doing a revisited episode, aren't
Mhm.
we?
It's
Mm.
the callback episode.
Okay.
Well, okay, before you move on,
Mm.
would that be any of that be a deal breaker for you?
Yeah, confessing he was madly in love with me on the first date, that would be a bit
Oh,
of
not
a
even,
fucking
like, the
red
knife
flag.
thing.
I mean, yeah, the knife thing would be pretty bad. Uh, but I don't know, you'd be like, "Yeah, it depends what the rest of them are like." If you
Yeah,
got
I
on, like, a
suppose.
house on fire, that's something you could address later on and be like, "You need to wash the knife
Yeah, we gotta clean
before."
that knife, or I'll just do it for you.
Yeah. Please don't tell me you cut your poo with that knife.
And, like, having a pocket knife or whatever, that to me is no big deal, but I'd also be like, "I don't think we need to use that knife to cut this cake. There's other
There's
we have a
plenty
cake,
of
there's
other
there's
knives, yeah.
knives here."
In fact, I'd buy him a knife block for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, "Here, have a whole set of knives for all your knife activities."
Wash them, though?
We also have a dishwasher. It's over there. Okay.
Oh, so they're living together in this scenario even though they just met.
Yeah.
I think that it would be a deal breaker for me too if, like, we had just met, it was, like, kind of our first date, and I was hearing that this person was madly in love with me. However,
A bit
that
of you would
it's like
also be like, "Oh my god."
no, not that. I do think I would be like, "Oh god," but I do have some relevant past experiences where maybe I, gave someone the benefit of the doubt and I shouldn't have, and we'll talk about that today maybe.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear that.
Okay, go on.
All right, this one's good. I went on a breakfast date where my date ordered 2 sunny side up eggs. He proceeded to take a straw, poke one in each yolk, and suck the yolks up.
Oh my
Can you
I like
imagine?
eggs, as we've all heard. That
You
is
like them enough to do that.
no. Never in the oh, there's no world where I would have dreamed of that, and that is r repulsive.
Isn't it gross?
Uh,
What
and
would
I
your
can't believe
reaction be like? Just be like,
I think how my face looks right now would be and then just, like, you think that's acceptable behavior to do in public? Fucking do it at home by yourself. I don't give a fuck, right? I'll
But
put
maybe
eat a
it's one of those things where he thinks everyone eats eggs like
what
that.
his entire family did.
Yeah. And
Oh
he's going back to
god.
his friends and being like, "She ate her eggs with a knife and fork. What kind of weirdo does that?"
Fucking savage. God. Ugh.
Okay. So I asked about his hobbies. This is a different one. I asked about his hobbies, and he said that he played the bagpipes. I thought that was really cool and asked him to tell me more. He asked, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." He proceeded to go on about bagpipes for the rest of the night, how he felt that playing bagpipes was his calling in life, how he needed to carry on his father's legacy, who also played the bagpipes, how he dreamed of playing bagpipes for the Queen, what his favourite brand of bagpipes was, and the autonomy of bagpipes. Every topic was somehow turned back to bagpipes. To be fair, I did say yes to him telling me more. I hope he's doing well and found someone just as passionate about bagpipes.
Oh, so this one is kind of I'm conflicted about because that would be a lot, but also, like, is it really that horrible that he like, has this
He just loves the
passion? I
bagpipes.
know, and, like, I think I would be spinning it out like, "Oh my god, is the rest of my life going to be waking up at, like, 5 a.m. to burn?" And I don't know if I could tolerate that, so I
No.
understand this, but it also just like, "Okay, like, this is our first date. Maybe ask me a question about something."
Oh, that's a nice handbag. Did you know that I play the bagpipes?
Yeah, no shit. I also have a story about a guy I saw who really loved talking about 2 particular things pretty constantly, which I'll
Really?
share more later. So I can relate to that one too.
Brilliant. Okay, here's a good one with a douchebag. He tried to control the whole date, what I wore, what I ate, whether I wore makeup or not, how I wore my hair, etc. He had this long list. So I answered the door with bedhead and baggy PJs, told him to buy a blow up doll to control and not contact me ever again, then closed the door.
Okay. I was going to ask, like, how did that happen if that was your first date? But now it makes sense. So this was all maybe it was like an online dating thing and they're planning the date and he sent her that because my good for her that I would just be like, "You know what?
Fuck you, buddy.
Change my mind." Thank you though. Thank you for doing this now instead of, after a few dates.
Yeah, that's it. At least she
I
saw the doucheness.
that is a lot and I guess like is that maybe like an indicator of what he'd be like in a serious relationship, super controlling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, big red
Red
flag.
flag.
Mhm.
But the sad thing is, I guess some girls would do it and then
Like,
possibly
if he
think
did
it
it
was.
right and a little bit at a time, and it was kind of like, "Oh, well, he asked me to
Mm,
wear a red dress and heels because 'cause we're going somewhere nice." Okay.
that's
And
it.
now that we're in a relationship, I'm not allowed to wear makeup. I have to dress a particular way. I can't see my that's I can see how people end up in those types of
Hmm.
situations, but
It escalates, man.
yeah.
Okay. He told me that we were going to a birthday party. He refused to tell me for whom and said I didn't need to bring anything.
Mhm.
It was a
'Kay.
birthday party for Jesus at his dad's church.
Oh, no.
I am an atheist and was incredibly uncomfortable and angry. I don't like being lied to, and I did not go on another date.
Well, did he lie, though? I
Was it
guess a lie by
Christmas?
omission. That's fair. Did you go on a date with someone on Christmas Day, even though I don't think that's actually Jesus's birthday?
Was it midnight mass? Because
I mean, I guess a lie by omission, sure, but I mean, he said it was a birthday party.
he wasn't really lying.
I wonder if she told him he was atheist and he's like, "I'm gonna help her
I'm,
find
I'm going to
Jesus."
convert her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to show her the light. This is nice, short and sweet. My friend went out with a guy who got drunk and pooped his pants on the first date.
And that is another indicator of a larger problem that bullet dodged. Ooh, like, what would you do in that circumstance? I'm just curious. Like, would you just leave? He's like, "He's drunk enough that he shit his pants. He's actually probably not gonna even remember I was here. I'm just gonna leave."
Probably,
That would
yeah.
be my response.
I don't know. There's no way I'd help clean that up. Like,
Well, no. Of course not.
what do you do?
Ugh.
Just call him a taxi or just leave him there, like,
I'm
with
not
his
even sure I
poopy
would do that.
pants?
I think I would just be like, "I actually don't know this person. This isn't my responsibility." Ugh.
I'm
And,
leaving.
I wonder how long before she realized he pooped his pants.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure that wasn't, like, immediately obvious, but maybe it was. I don't know.
Mm. Did she see it occur? Did it drop out
Like,
his
was it
shorts
was
or
it, like, a very obvious face he made, and she's like, "Are you pooping
like
right
a
now?"
baby shitting?
Or, like, on Bridesmaids after they eat that food and get sick, and then Maya Rudolph's character's in the street, and Kristen Wiig's like, "Oh, you're doing it. You're doing it."
It's coming.
Ugh, yeah, that's a bad one.
Oh god. Okay. So the guy told me he would still be together with his kid's mum if she'd apologise for what she did wrong. Out of curiosity, I asked what she did wrong. I was expecting something like she cheated or something else that warranted an apology. Nope. Apparently, she kept nagging one day and wouldn't shut up, so he tied her to a computer chair and went out for 3 hours and left her there. I said it didn't sound like she was the one who needed to apologise and then left.
So when he said if she apologized, I'd still be like, I'd get back with her, what he meant to say was, "She left me, filed a restraining order, and I can't see my kids right now. She needs to apologize."
What the fuck, mate?
Jeez.
Oh
Ugh.
dear.
Like, the tying to the chair seems like the unnecessary escalation
Yeah.
too. That's a big problem. Like, she was nagging, so like, left for a while, and because of that, like, we separated because she was mad I left. Then it'd be like,
Mm.
"Okay, you needed a break, whatever." But I also am feeling like if she apologized, then you're just gonna break up with me, so
And I feel like tying her to the chair was totally unnecessary. He could have just left.
that's what I mean, like, under any circumstance, that feels like not the right response. But based on what he described happening, like, you could have just left and been like, "I need a break because we're fighting and I want to chill out." You know, having to
Yeah.
separate yourself from conflict is an appropriate thing to do sometimes. But tying someone to a chair, did you, like, shove a sock in her mouth too? Like, if you
Spun
have
around a
kids,
few times
don't
for good measure.
don't let mommy out of the chair, she's in timeout. Ugh,
What a dick.
yeah.
Okay. He got us pulled over. The car was searched and he had a brick of coke in the trunk. I nearly got arrested and he finally vouched that it was a blind date and I was innocent.
Oh my god. Imagine if he was like, "I don't know who that is," and then looks at you and you're like, "Not my car."
I've never met this man. I
Just now.
promise.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess that's why blind dates are risky, huh?
Mm,
Never let them pick you up, meet them at the place.
yes. Always meet in a public area and don't go in the woods.
Stay out of the forest.
I did that once.
Do you wanna talk about it now?
Yeah, I met a guy at a pub and we said, oh, if it goes well, we could go for a walk in the woods
Mhm,
afterwards. And
mhm.
it went all right. So we went for this walk. And for some reason, we decided to not use like the path in the woods and just like,
We or he decided?
oh, yeah, I can't really remember to be honest. But there was one point where I definitely thought this was a stupid idea. Like,
Mhm,
I'm not even in
mhm,
the public path. I'm just in the middle of the fucking woods, away from the path with
mhm.
a stranger who I've never met. And he also kept trying to like trip me up and push me over.
Because was he a 14-year-old boy, Gemma?
Exactly. I was like, I don't understand. Either you're trying to make me fall so that you can then murder me and bury me in
It's
the
easier.
woods,
Yeah,
or
you're
you're
already
just
down.
extremely immature. I don't
My
understand
god.
what's happening. It's very weird. I didn't see him
Uh,
again.
well, I'm glad nothing bad happened and you had a realization rather quickly
Hmm.
that this might not be the best idea.
Yeah, probably should have thought about that before I agreed
It's
to it.
hard in the moment, and also you don't wanna be like I think there's this whole theory about not wanting to be rude, right?
Yeah.
So, like, no offense, I don't wanna go off the public path because I don't know you that well and you might be a murderer. Like, if I
Yeah.
had the balls to actually say that at times, then great, but we don't.
No. No, you often
It's
don't.
fine, I'm probably not gonna get murdered, that's very much my attitude, as I said last time, like, no one's gonna sexually assault me. If they do, I hope it's swift and painless and that, like, if they're gonna kill me, it's just quick.
Such a
So, I
positive
feel
outlook on
you.
life.
I know. I know. But I know what you mean, and I understand.
Okay, this one I actually quite like. He farted and smelled it, then proceeded to rate the smell of the fart.
He was one of the characters from Step Brothers. It was either Will Ferrell or John C. Reilly's character, I think.
Yeah.
Oh my gross. The I mean, I'm guessing that's like, he just thought that was a normal thing to do.
I guess so, yeah.
Like, and then turns to her, like, "How would you rate that
Well, it's
on a
probably what he
scale of
did with
1
his
to fart?"
mates, you know? I think farts can be funny, but you wouldn't do it on a first date.
No. Well, and as you and I were discussing before we started recording, like, how we are kind of when we first start dating someone, trying to be cool, relaxed, cool girl, you
Yeah.
know? Like, there's
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
like,
yeah, let me
social
smell your fart, I love it, yeah.
Gee, that would have been you. Oh my god. Maybe me too, honestly, I don't know. Going back to the knife thing, maybe even I would have been like, "That's so cool and handy that you can cut my cake and clean my shoes in the same moment." I'm now, like, reflecting all of this and having second thoughts. Maybe I would have been like, "It's fine, you shit your pants. Let me help you." So cool and chill.
I love it when people shit their pants, it's awesome.
So hot. Ugh. That person also was a 14-year-old boy, though, I think.
Yeah. Right, any more good ones? Oh, that makes me cringe.
Like, in a good way or a bad way?
So it's he was clearly desperate to put a ring on anyone's finger.
Oh, no.
He was
Yeah.
intensely overly romantic, despite not knowing me at all. He put on A Sunday Kind of Love by Etta James. The date was on a Sunday, by the way, and he tried to sing it to me while looking earnestly into my eyes. He was
Ooh, that
also in
does
the
make my skin
military.
crawl. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
he was also in the military, and we were both 19. Go figure.
Okay. That is interesting that you say this because this might not be something you know. Um, there is kind of a stereotype, but also a little bit of a pattern that I've seen with folks in the military who I think for a variety of reasons really do try to like get in a relationship, get married. And I think part of it might be to do with benefits
Oh,
too.
really?
And so, like, as soon as she said military, I'm like, that tracks in that I've had encounters with work where military couple, one was in the military, they started dating, got married really quickly, had kids, were very young, separated. It was a whole hot mess because I think I don't know. I don't know what the kind of like reasoning behind it is, but there is some truth behind that kind of like stereotype, I think.
Really? Like
Yeah.
marital
Just like we got to get
benefits?
married. Yeah, maybe. And it might be that. It might be like in case anything happens, then it goes to someone, or maybe you get
Mm.
like a little bit, you get some accommodation if you're married and have kids. So you're not going to get like deployed or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
better housing, maybe more benefits. I don't know.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Didn't know you could get a house if you married a military man.
Well,
Writing
they do
that
have
one
like
down.
mortgages, like, better rates and, like, easier you can buy a house, I think, a little bit easier if you were a veteran or in the military. There's
Oh,
lots of
really?
you can get discounts on cars, tuition. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's how they. That's how they get people to join.
Mm.
Hmm.
You should see some of the adverts here. They're very.
For king and country, right? It's very
I guess so.
patriotic.
No, it's kind of like I don't know. They're really like appealing to the young people. Like can't remember what they say now, but it's like, you weren't made at school. You were made to build rocket ships and fucking RAF piloting, and you weren't made
Mm.
in the school. You were made in the military, and like it's yeah,
Hmm.
it's very bad. I remember my younger brother being like, "Those adverts are like really convincing. Like I want to join the army." And I was like, "Don't."
So maybe a little bit predatory in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of like how extremist
Scientology.
groups like try and bring people in.
Yeah, well, I remember so there's recruiting, we have commercials too. They're very like, I think like that, do something good. They try to make it, like look at all these avenues that you can have, which I agree
Yeah,
there
same.
probably are. I don't know enough to really go into that, but we also had to take like a standardized test in high school called I think the acronym was ASVAB, ASVAB. And I wasn't,
ASVAB.
yeah, I don't remember what it stood for,
Because
but
your
I
ass
remember,
is fab.
yep, that's why.
Mm.
But I didn't pay attention to like any of the rules for testing and stuff. I just went in and I had my calculator, I was using my calculator, and you weren't supposed to use a calculator. Turns out I like did really well
Oh.
because of it. And I had like recruiters calling constantly to try to convince me to like agree to enlist when I graduated and stuff like that.
Really?
And I was like, no, I cheated on that fucking test. I'm dumb as hell.
So you could be like a general now.
No, I'm dumb as hell. I would have been like, sure. And then they'd be like, you're clearly very good at math and science. And I'd be like, oh, fuck, I got to fake this
Oh
now. And
shit.
it would have been this whole saga where maybe I would have failed upwards. I don't know. And I could be a general. Probably not, though.
I know someone that's training to be in the army, but they're going into like the medical
Hmm.
side of it. But I think they still
Yeah.
have to do like all the physical training and
Yeah.
everything.
Boot
And it
camp. And
sounds horrendous. I don't know why
yeah.
anyone would want to do it. I'd have one person shout at me and be like, "I don't like it
I'm so
here.
sorry.
Please let me go home."
You're so right. I'm a pathetic piece of dirt on your
Yeah,
shoe. You're
you're
right.
so right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would fail out quickly.
Mm. There's a show here called SAS Who Dares Wins, and it's where people go and do like a course of our SAS training.
Hmm.
And my God, it looks fucking horrendous. Like
Should we try it?
I know, I'd give up in the first 30 minutes,
Be
honestly.
like, all we had to do was just walk through the woods, Gemma, with some backpacks on.
Yeah, that's enough.
Mine's too heavy.
No, they do these things called like bee stings, where they have to
Bee stings or bee stings? Like
like like a
beast, ing.
yeah beast ing,
Okay.
where they've got like their full equipment on, and they have to like
Hmm.
climb up a mountain and then climb back down and then bring I don't know fucking
Water to a village in
yeah and like
Rwanda.
tires up, and then they'll if someone does something wrong, then like everyone has to do like press ups
Oh, yeah.
until the first person gives up or the last person gives up or something like that, and it just horrendous.
Mm. I suppose it's those people who do that, like, because they're really into fitness and endurance and probably just want to see if they can, right?
It seems to be more of a mental game because there's lots of people that are really physically fit, but if they can't push past the mental side of
Hmm.
it, then they fail
Oh,
and
okay.
leave or they
Hmm.
get booted out. It's a good program, but fuck that.
It makes me think of, do you guys have Naked and Afraid over there?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what would possess anybody to be like, please drop me in a remote location where I can die, where I can strip fully naked with someone of the opposite sex who is also fully naked and have a camera crew following us around. but they can't help us, and we have to survive for X amount of days.
Mm.
Like, I can't imagine anything worse.
What, you don't like being naked in front of strangers in the wilderness?
Some might say that I am what is called a never nude, and I shower with denim shorts on and a denim
Oh,
bra and just, you know
why denim?
no, it's from Arrested Development. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh,
that show.
no, I haven't.
One of the characters is never nude, and you just can't be naked, and I was like, "That I actually resonate with that a little bit." For example, it's very hot here. It's been very hot this month, and we've had some
Mm.
really consistently hot days, and I'm like, "Should I put on more clothes?"
Really?
Yeah.
Where is my bubble hat?
Yeah, I need to wear a full coat right
I
now.
need to protect my head.
Yep. Uh,
So,
anything else or no?
now I want you to tell me about your
Okay.
terrible
Well,
dates slash
so
relationships.
I think I told you. I know I've told you, but I've been kind of enjoying Bad Dates, the podcast. It's great. It's Jamila Jamil, who's, pretty famous British personality, I guess.
Yeah. She's an actress, isn't she?
Well, I've only become familiar with her because of The Good Place,
Yeah.
which is I love that show,
I
but
think
I
she
think
used
she's
to just
been
host one of our like Sunday music shows on MTV or something.
yeah, I think I heard that she was like a VJ or an MC or something, like a
Yeah.
TV personality
And
in
I
that
was really
regard.
shocked when I saw she was on The Good Place. I was like, she's just a TV presenter.
You can
Why
be
is she
anything
an
you wanna
actress?
be if you're already famous.
True. And good looking. And
Yeah.
go to LA. Hmm.
Yep. But so she's got this podcast and she's got like this interesting kind of own dating. She's like, I'm the worst dater. No, and she said it enough that I'm inclined to believe that she's talking about what like she perceives her experiences to be. But she acts like she's like this troll and no one's ever wanted to date her. She's finally in this relationship, but she has these comedians and celebrities come on to talk about their dating experiences, right? It's a really
Right.
good podcast. I recommend
Stop
people.
advertising other podcasts.
I know, but it's good, and I remember being jealous because I was like, "This is what I wanted our podcast to be about in part." Anyway, and not to totally rip it off, but I started thinking about, like, I wonder how I would answer some of the questions she asks, and think about we already have talked a lot about, like, my actual, like, dating, going on date experiences are kinda limited, but I've had
Hmm.
relationships where there's been some bad slash hilarious experiences, some of which I've already shared, like Trevor might be an idiot,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Um, but I guess just thinking about some of my relationships and what it's like to date me, I started thinking like, okay, I suspect that I probably am not fully honest about who I am as a person and my needs. Try to act like a very chill, cool person and like let a lot of things slide and like kind of give people second chances because I want to seem like the cool girl, like that trope, right? And then
Mm.
of course when something finally is like I can't let that one go and whether it's because it's been building up or just like expressing a negative emotion about something and then suddenly being like, well, you're crazy, right?
Mm.
So it's like, no, that's actually really shitty and you shouldn't do that.
Mm. But you're so chill. Like, why are you
Yeah,
acting like this now?
exactly.
Mm.
But that's kind of how I think I would probably characterize what it's like maybe dating me. And I don't know if you generally feel the same about yourself or if you have any
Yeah.
other thoughts.
I always used to play the cool girl. I mean, I think I am quite cool. I don't think
I think
I'm.
you're cool.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. I think I'm generally pretty chilled anyway. But there was definitely um, playing it even more chilled, as you say,
Hmm.
not confronting stuff that really pissed me off or like, really bad behavior and
Hmm.
things like that. Just being like, no, it's cool, I'm totally chill with it, don't worry. And then when you don't address that, resentment grows
Hmm.
and the issue becomes a lot worse and then it explodes out a lot later.
Yep.
So
Yep. I
gradually
think
learnt
I've
to express my feelings.
exactly. I think I've gotten better at that too. But just thinking about some of my early relationships, for example, let me get my notes here because I have a couple. And did I talk about I think I touched upon maybe this particular relationship is very short-lived. I was in high school. It's kind of like early on in my dating life. He was a very, very attractive person from a different school. And so I was like, I can't believe this person wants to go out on a date with me, but I sure will. Well,
Mm.
much like the guy who loves the bagpipes, this young man really loved pointing out all of the lawns he mowed for his part-time job, all of the terrible looking lawns, the things those lawns needed to look better, being like, "Isn't that lawn so nice looking? It's because I work on that lawn. Your school's lawn is shitty. My school's lawn is really, really nice." Constantly talking about grass and lawns and lawn mowing,
Wow.
which great to have a passion for sure,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like the amount like, I don't think we really talked about anything else, and the other thing he liked to bring up
Did you join in? Oh,
I
yeah, that's
just
a shit lawn over there.
I just listened, I think, 'cause I didn't really care or know what to
Yeah.
say in response, um, and he also really liked to talk shit about my school lunch and how their school lunch was so much better,
How did he
which
know?
he wouldn't, and I also know that's not true because I have friends who went to that school, and they
Mm.
would joke about how, like, being kind of the wealthier school, we had, like, a blizzard machine that made, like, ice cream with the lit like, it's a McFlurry pretty much, and,
Awesome.
like, a little room where you could buy candy bars and other things, and we had pizza Fridays, and so I was like, "I know
Alright.
that's not true, your school lunch actually sucks," so I did engage, sadly, in that conversation,
Just
but
arguing about how fucking good your school lunches are.
yeah, and then I
Uh,
realized this is not a relationship I can be in, and so I was just it was only like a 2-week thing, um, and I was like 15 or 16, so you can imagine how in-depth that was even.
yeah.
But then when we broke up and I continued through my high school career and we
He
would
mowed
like
your lawn.
no, he didn't. My
Out
parents
of
would
spite.
never have well,
Did a really bad
really
job.
poorly. He cut it too low at the height of the sun, so everything burned. No. But I would encounter like our school would have games or matches against them. And
Mm.
he was a wrestler and I was like the wrestling team for our school's manager, which did not mean I didn't do anything. I just like
Right?
went. I just went around. My friends were cheerleaders, so it was kind of like a way for me to hang out with my friends, I guess. I had two moms come up to me and say, I'll call him Paul. Uh, Paul pointed me out to you and said, "You're the girl who broke his heart." And I'm like,
Wow.
I don't know what to say to you right now
Oh, dear.
because I'm a child and you're literally a grown person and saying this to me.
You
It
broke Paul's heart.
yeah.
All he wanted
I
to do was tell you
It's because I
about
listened
France.
so well.
Yeah.
He
Such an
mistook that for
engaged,
love of
active list.
lawns. Ugh.
Oh god, that's terrible.
So that was a fun experience that kind of like continued for a bit. But that's not the first time I've had someone say that I've like broken a human. Um,
I've had
the
that a
next
few
guy I
times as well.
dated, and it's so fucked up. It's just like this isn't my fault. But the next guy I dated for a little longer, like serious quote unquote boyfriend in high school, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was the first girl he ever dated, quote unquote. But after we broke up, to this day, if I encounter any people from my school who were in that friends group, we talk about how I apparently totally changed and like changed who this person was, that he became this entirely different kind of horrible human who was just never the same again after that.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah.
You were the catalyst that turned him into a monster.
And his mom, his parents lived down the street from me. We were just a couple, like a 2-minute walk apart. And like after graduating, I ended up at their house for a party somehow. And his mom had been drinking and like pulled me under her lap and cried and was like, "I thought you would be mine." And again, I'm like, I'm a mere 19-year-old
Oh my
child,
god.
and you're a grown person, and I don't know what to do here."
Hey, you attract some crazies, don't you?
Their parents, I guess, more so than them, but and then, I had in college a boyfriend that I broke up with one night, and it didn't go back to my apartment that evening. Went back the next day and found that my birth control was stolen. And my roommate saying, "Oh, yeah, your boyfriend stopped by to wait for you." And he went, so I just told him, "She's not here, but you can go chill in her room if you want." And he's like, "I don't think he's still here. I thought I heard him leave." And then I went in there and I was like, "Oh, he stole my birth control." And he admitted it later because he was like, "Well, I didn't want you slutting around." And I'm like, Okay.
Fucking hell.
Okay. Thank you for doing that because I certainly would have if it weren't for you, my
Taking my
hero.
birth control. Bloody
Just
hell.
yeah, and I dated him for a long time. Kind of, I hate to say this, like kind of out of convenience, but and I reflect on that relationship like, oof, I really
Mm.
just like settled for a lot.
Yeah, I had well, it wasn't a similar thing. He didn't steal my birth control or, like,
But I know,
cut the
weird.
end of condoms off or anything.
Oh, that would have been
But
funny. Not funny, it would have been horrifying, but
yeah. But he used to, like, stand me up all the time, um, and, like, say, like, horrible things, but then later be like, "Oh, I was only joking, like, you're crazy if you
oh my
think I'm
god.
being horrible, da 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 da."
Oh, just gaslighting.
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
Um, and eventually I got sick of it and so broke up with him. And this seems to be like a running theme. So I break up with someone and then they become super obsessed
Yeah.
and like crazy over me and
Mhm. They lose their shit.
lose their shit. Yeah.
Mhm.
I had another boyfriend
Mhm.
who broke up with me, went and slept with loads of other people, and then a few weeks later realized that he wanted me back. And I was like, no, we're, we're done.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah, we're
done with
done.
this.
Mhm.
Um, and he actually, at the time, his parents' house was like behind my parents' house at the
Oh,
time,
no. Mhm.
and our bedrooms like looked onto each other.
Oh, no.
And there was one night where he was like shining a torch through the window to try and get my attention because I wasn't replying to text messages.
That is like some American teen rom-com stuff, like Morse code in the window that we did when we were kids, when we were but just childhood schoolmates, but now we love each other. Ooh, he thought he was grand gesturing you. But he
I
broke
just felt it
he
was freaky.
yeah, he it's so funny. I know I said this on a previous episode, but it's like, "You broke up with me, and, like, you get to walk by now and call me a whore because 'cause I'm sitting outside with another guy." Like, you dumped me. You
Yeah.
dumped me.
Oh
Ugh.
god.
They they are, and like I said earlier, I know that in my younger days, I certainly wasn't, like, always the innocent one and have done things to be hurtful, whether intentionally or not, just
Mhm.
because particularly when we're in high school and stuff, like, it is my perspective that those relationships aren't meant to be the ones we're in forever, but I know
No.
people are, like, there's high school sweethearts who are together forever, and that's great, like, that
Good
clearly
for
is
them.
because yeah, you found that person, but, like, I look back on a lot of my relationships, and first of all, I'm like, "Why did I do that?"
Mhm.
And then second, I'm like, "So glad I'm not anymore." And then third, like, I guess I learned some things about myself in that regard.
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Like, I think every bad relationship is good because you learn something from it. Even if it's
Hopefully.
terrible, manipulative, and horrible,
Mhm,
you learn not to tolerate that behavior anymore. And, if you've been the crazy bitch, you learn not to do
mhm.
that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's all a big learning curve.
Yeah, I so I have thought about whether or not I actually wanted to go into this one, and I know I've told you a little bit about it, like, off air as over the years, because it's pretty bad, but
Mhm.
I look back now and try not to, like, really blame myself or feel ashamed by it because I know it wasn't my fault like I initially felt it was, but when I was in law school, like, had been in a relationship, that relationship went sour and kind of got involved sort of with another guy briefly, and it turns out he had been pining for me since day 1 of law school, and this was year
Oh.
3. So, 3 years later
Mm.
that we kind of finally, like, had a little bit of a thing. Um, had wrote stories about me and, like, just apparently yeah, and, like, had, like, just very specific memory of the first time he laid eyes on me, and it was game over since then. And didn't know this when things started, and, he was pretty quiet and whatever, so I didn't
Yeah.
initially envision this, but it escalated to the point where he got kicked out of law school because of it.
What?
Mhm.
Well, like
Yeah, and it felt
stalking?
yeah, and I really just was, like, trying to keep a low profile, and I didn't wanna get anyone in trouble, I just wanted to be left alone, and I had a really good friend who listens to the podcast who was like, "This is not acceptable,"
Mm.
and, helped me go get a restraining order, which was denied despite the fact that he
Whoa.
caused significant damage to my car that he paid for, and I, like, didn't tell my parents or anybody, didn't go to insurance, like, he paid for it all so that I wouldn't have to, um, and ultimately, like, my friend told, like, the student like, I can't remember what the unit was, but basically, like, kind of helps students in various ways,
Yeah.
and they intervened, and there was, like, this agreement that he was supposed to leave me alone, but he could not, and I had to say, "He is not following the rules," and they kicked him out of law school.
Oh my gosh.
And it continued after I graduated through the
What?
summer to the point where I was taking the bar, I had met Sean already, and, uh, like, his family got involved. He, like, flipped his car and ended up in the hospital, and his
Oh
family was like,
my
"Please don't
god.
and I'm like, "I am not contacting him." He still has my email address because that email still exists. I changed my phone number, I moved, and was not engaging, and I have
Fucking
still, like,
hell.
a whole inbox full of all of these emails. It was bad. He had some mental health issues and some substance abuse issues, which I think were a big influence
Mm.
on that. So, that is I'm not trying to, like, fully say he's, like, this horrible human being, and I'm not trying to, like, fully say that this is something that I, like, brought onto myself, but there were a lot of things that, like, could have been done differently.
Yeah, and it sounds like there's a lot of things that could have happened
Yeah.
differently. Thank
Mhm.
God for your friend as well.
Yeah.
Like noticing and being like, this is not okay.
Yeah. Like, I
Wow.
couldn't talk to people at school. People I'd been going to s I couldn't talk to a professor without him being like, "Oh, you're fucking him now, and you're fucking him. You're such a
Oh,
whore." And I'm
no.
just like, "Please just leave me alone, please. Please, please,
Hmm.
please, 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 please."
My God. So were you actually like in a relationship or was this just his kind of fantasy world?
I mean, I would say we were, but it became pretty apparent pretty quick that there were issues, and so I
Mm.
tried to distance myself from him without like, while trying not to piss him off because I was actually very scared of him
Yeah.
and, like, how he acted. So I was, like, trying to be like, "Look, like, you're nice and all, but this isn't like, you have some issues, like, this is too much for me, like, you wrecked my car, you acted this way." I had to do an internship in DC the first semester of my law school, like, last year of law school. He
Mm.
drove from where my law school was in the Midwest to DC and was standing outside of my work with the federal government agency I worked at, and I was
Oh
like,
my
"I don't know what to
God.
do." So I know, like, I could have done more to be like, "Leave me alone," cutting off contact, but like I said, I didn't really know what to do, so I was trying to be nice, you know?
Yeah.
And I
And if you
didn't
were
I
scared of him as well,
yeah.
it's that, if I do end it and,
Mhm.
you know, be
Yeah.
harsh, then that could
Mhm.
also result in a different outcome.
I thought going to DC would help because, like, I wouldn't be there, and it was, like,
No, he just
drama
came.
kind of in yeah, there was drama in the f like, the kind of the friends group that developed too because of it, and so I was like, "Well, I'm going to DC, and I'm just, like, gonna" but he
Mm,
wouldn't stop, and like I said, I felt bad, and so then when I came back, I luckily was able to move residences,
mhm.
and so then he didn't know where I lived, and I changed my phone number. The phone number I had since I was, like, in 7th grade. I love that phone number for no real
Ah,
reason, but then I remember calling that number to just be like, "Have you been getting calls and text messages from this person?" And she was like, "Yeah, you must be
really?
Kate."
Oh my
Yep,
god.
and she's like, "Sounds like, uh, he really, has a thing for you," and I was like, "That is one way of putting it, and I'm really sorry
Mm.
that you ended up with my phone number, but I just wanted to give you a heads up."
And they wouldn't give you a restraining order?
I have no idea why it got denied because especially knowing what I know now about them, like,
Yeah.
it's purely the judge, probably the state I was in. I don't think, like, Nebraska has particularly, like, supportive victim
Mm,
laws
right,
and
yeah.
resources, so
Bloody hell.
yeah, it was bad. I think I heard a couple years later that from someone I knew who was, like, when I was a 3L, she was a 1L, um, she had messaged me and she's like, "Hey, that guy that was in your grade that left is back and, like, finishing up." And I reached out to, like, the student person and I was just like, "Hey, no one, like, asked me if I'd heard from him or
Mm,
anything since." And I hadn't since after I took the bar exam, like, he stopped after a while. But I was like, "It just would've been good for you guys to, like, check," you know? And she's like, "Well, we did." And I was like, "Oh, well, you guys do not have my current contact information then because I never heard from anyone." But you know what? If he did what you guys thought he needed to do and could show that, like, was doing better, then fine. I'm okay with him going back and finishing. But I also am like, I'm concerned that this person is practicing law.
that's what I was just about to say. It's,
Yep.
yeah, slightly concerning that that behaviour,
Yep.
is yeah, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a bit speechless. That's crazy shit.
It was That's probably my craziest story and kind of I just think about, what we talked about last time and kind of over some of our episodes about just, like, how society treats victims and toxic masculinity and all of that. And, I had some feedback from a friend of mine after our last episode about how, like, it would be better for men, even if they're talking with the lads and, kind of joking about stuff, really to actually say that's not cool, that's not
Mhm.
okay, you shouldn't say that, rather than kind of, like, jokingly engage.
Yeah.
Um, and I came across a BuzzFeed article about, 16 disgusting, rage inducing, and downright horrifying behaviors by men that made women end their friendship with them. And so
Okay,
it kind
yeah.
of made me think about maybe if I ever encounter something like that in a friendship of mine, like, would it be better to actually say, you know what, like, no.
Mhm.
And if that person isn't super, like, open to what I have to say, then, like, do I want to be friends with them? I think that's a good barometer, right?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Um, One being he told me a mutual friend who had been sexually assaulted deserved it because she was wearing a bikini in front of boys and obviously asking for it. We were in his
Wow.
pool at the time and I was in a bikini. Like, my response would have been like, "Oh, so am I asking for it right now?"
Yeah.
And then, of course, it was, "No, that's not what I meant." Well, fucking tell me what you meant then,
Mm.
because that's exactly what you said.
Why is it different for her,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Um, After I went through a breakup, my friend of over 10 years got mad when I met someone else. He tried to say I should sleep with him because he's known me longer. Like, I don't have sex with people based on seniority.
No.
He's like, "But I've been friend zoned for so long, it's my turn." Okay, you're right. Get in
Alright,
here.
sorry. Come on, in you get.
Um, when he said about Andrew Tate, "I get he's not perfect, but the media is treating him unfairly." He really opened my eyes. Oh yeah, that would be like, we're done. That's
Bye-bye.
enough for me. That's enough for
Mhm.
me. He expected me to mother him and be his sole emotional support while also demeaning me and my own problems.
Mm.
Mm.
I've been with a few guys with mummy issues, and it's, it's testing, to say the
Mhm.
least.
Mhm.
I don't want to be your mummy. That's not what I'm here for. Please
Are we
go
talking
home.
about, like, romantic relationships?
Yeah.
Or just oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes, I certainly don't wanna be I mean, that just kinda changes the whole dynamic a little bit. It's
Well,
not
yeah,
really that fun that I have to, like, clean up after you and
exactly. Like, I had one that was like, couldn't do their own washing because
mm.
they didn't know how to use a washing machine. And I'm like, you literally just click the on button. It's not that hard.
That is called something, and I can't think of it right now even though I was just talking about it. It's called, intentional intentional helplessness or something where it's like, "I don't know how, so I guess
Mm,
you have to do it because my mom didn't teach me," and it's
yeah.
you see that in relationships where women are the ones who end up doing a lot of the chores and caretaking and stuff,
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
and, "Well, I don't know how to load a
I
dishwasher,
don't
so you just do it better."
Yeah, you're so good at it.
Yep.
I was talking about this with someone the other day, actually, about how it really fucks me off when people say they can't cook.
Yeah,
Like,
me too, actually. No offense to my friend if he's listening, he knows who he is.
but yeah, like, it's not difficult. Just read the back of the packet on the food you buy, or
Mhm.
look at a recipe, and you know what? It tells you exactly what you need to do and for how long and at what temperature. Just follow the steps.
Yep.
And even if you fuck it up the first time, you've learnt, and the next time you'll
Mhm.
probably get it right. Like, there's people that are like, I can't even boil an egg. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot then.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I mean, and I've certainly had my own I taught myself how to cook.
Same.
It wasn't I mean, my mom's a really good cook and my dad tried, but that wasn't a focus in our house. And so it was truly like if I want to eat something that I enjoy, I'm going to have to figure it out.
Mm, exactly. And we have Google these days.
Right?
It's not hard, guys.
Now this one's a frustrating one. I've cut off several and all for the same reason. They tried to make our friendship either sexual or romantic or both. Ah, the
Mm.
age-old question, can men and women be exclusively friends?
Yeah, there seems to be a real split on this. I was reading something about it a little while ago. And I've always been of the opinion as yes, you can, because I
Mhm.
have lots of male friends and I've always had a very
Mhm.
um, split friendship group. Like, there's males and females in it. So
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, it's not an issue. But loads of people seem to be of the opinion that, like, no, definitely you can't. If, like, your girlfriend's friends with a guy, then they're definitely interested in them and something's happened between them. And that just blows my mind. I think the world would be a better place if more people had both female and male friends because you
Yeah.
learn from both perspectives.
So I agree with you, and I actually had this conversation not too long ago with someone who was of the opposite opinion, and his perspective was, even if it's not vocalized, it is highly likely that one or the other has, sexual attraction or romantic feelings for that person, even if, like, they know that it won't happen and they'll continue the friendship, but, and so I think he would when I would say, "Well, no, I can think of a ton of male friends who did," and he's like, "You don't know that for sure." I bet if you had ever been like, "Oh, I'm into you," or "I think we should hook up," they would have been like, "Phew, can we do it right now?" And I was like, I don't think so, though.
No.
I really don't." Sure, maybe some of them, and then usually that would become known at some point, right?
Mm.
Um, but I guess that to his point is you could never know, you know?
No, you couldn't. But I also think it says more about that person.
I agree.
So,
I agree, and I think the question is just are men or women able to look at, I guess, the opposite sex, if that's the gender they're attracted to anyways, um, and not have it even if it's just a fleeting thought of "She looks cute today, I would," but and never again, right?
mm,
Or not even, an attraction, but if someone was like, "Would you hook up with so and so?" And they'd be like, Yeah, sure, why not?"
yeah.
Um, like, can you have a friendship without having those thoughts? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It also makes me think of, like, I've met guys before that are like scared of gay men because they think because they're gay, that means they're automatically going to come on to them. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you think a lot of yourself to think
Yeah.
that just because they're gay, that means they're going to try it
And
on
you're a
with you.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not how it
Also,
works.
the implication that, like, gay people don't have types and,
Hmm.
like, are will just literally be attracted to or wanna have sex with anyone.
As long as they've got a penis, I'm into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Alright. So, we met up for drinks, and he told me he cheated on his girlfriend. He was very unapologetic about it. He got drunk later on and started making weird, trashy, and creepy remarks about women. Have you ever
Mm.
had a friend who is just, like, actually really horrible about women or to women?
Um, don't think I have. I have heard stories of some people who I know of who are in like either like WhatsApp chats or like gaming chats, and amongst themselves they can be quite use like derogatory language against
Mhm.
women and stuff. Um, which is quite shocking because when they're around us women in the friendship group, they're really respectful. So it's clearly like a
Lads, like we were talking
lads,
about with
yeah.
the "Am I the asshole?" and,
Mm.
like, maybe don't do that, and because maybe some of your friends actually are like that to women or believe that, and
And some
perhaps
of
just
them
you
have
saying
children
yeah,
and daughters, and that's what
yeah.
shocks me the most because I just think, can't you have some perspective and think, would you want people talking about your kids like that? Like your
I mean, I
precious
think
little
the answer is
princess?
no, but they clearly can compartmentalize,
Yeah. Mm.
you know? Anyway, that's I thought I would share some of those just because I thought it tied in nicely with last episode and some of our discussions today.
This has been the throwback episode.
I think a recap is, isn't dating fun?
Doesn't dating suck?
It is horrible. I'm sorry to everyone out there who is having to go through that and thinking about all of their bad dates. And if you, as Jamil would say, if you can't think of a bad date, maybe it's because you're someone else's bad date. And have a think about that and reflect on that behavior.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, and I can't really think of that many bad ones, so I'm
Well, you've
clearly a
shared
bad
plenty.
date.
I mean, you shared the guy who was repulsed by your left-handedness.
True.
Um, and I know there were other ones that I can't think of. So, but I will fully say that the few dates that I've been on, whether I perceive them as bad or good, like it could have been bad for the other person too. I acknowledge
Yeah.
that, you know?
Some people are just not meant to be with you, and that's just how it is. But there's
No,
light at
everyone
the end of
is.
the tunnel, guys, because Catherine has been married for some years now, and I did end up finding an all right person.
Yay, Alan.
Yeah.
Until he tripwires you down the stairs and has like a bucket of paint come from a rope. I'm giving him ideas to like splash you in the face, and then you get feathered and stuff, like
Covered
Home
in
Alone.
tar, feathered.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward
Ugh.
to that. Am I the asshole for letting my pregnant fiance think I'm cheating on her? My fiance, Jen, is insecure right now, given that she's 32 weeks pregnant.
Mm.
I still think she's beautiful no matter what, but telling her makes no difference. Now, for the past 6 years, we have been basically inseparable. I actually enjoy her company to a point of me not really wanting to go out without her. Cute.
Okay. Yep.
She's fun and makes my night way better by having her around. We are also very open with communication and we aren't blind, so we will 100% tell each other when we find someone else attractive. Well, given this detail, I may have fucked up a bit because I told Jen that I thought my buddy's girlfriend was gorgeous and had nice hips. Now, this is not an uncommon comment for the record. It was merely bad timing because she's pregnant and insecure. I shouldn't have said anything, but again, we have always talked like this to each other, so I just wasn't thinking. I mean, 2 months ago, she pointed out some very attractive man and said he had arms that could toss her around the bedroom. Lol. Neither of us act on anything like this. It's all talk and sometimes leads to extra spicy time. That's all. But, anyways, I made the comment about my buddy's girlfriend and she agreed with me at first, but it soon fell apart. See, I go to my buddy's house quite often and she's always invited, but she's been declining because of being uncomfortable because the baby's on her sciatic nerve.
Hmm.
Or saying she doesn't really want to be around people because she feels gross.
Mhm.
But she did go with me 2 days ago, and I guess I let my eyes wander a bit and she noticed. I didn't notice. She asked me to bring her home and was being super quiet. And when I finally got it out of her, she said, "You told me that she's gorgeous and has nice hips, and then you guys eye fuck each other in front of me."
Mm.
I asked what she was talking about, and she openly said, "Are you fucking her? Because you're there a lot." So I said, "Don't be silly, of course not." I drop her off and she tells me to go have fun, so I go back there. When I
Ugh,
get
don't
home,
move.
mhm. When I get home, she was in bed and distant. I asked what was wrong, and she said, "You just left me here thinking you're cheating and go back to hang out with her with zero qualms." By the way, my buddy's girlfriend wasn't there when I got back. I said, "You told me to go back and have fun, babe. I didn't realise you were serious." She says, as if you didn't realise I was being serious, and turns to go to bed. And now I'm feeling incredibly stupid, but I don't even know what to say to her. It's tense. Am I the asshole?
Um, the degree of which this person can acknowledge how his wife is uncomfortable given being pregnant, the baby's making 32 weeks is pretty far along. I bet she's uncomfortable. Having never been pregnant, like I can only imagine.
Mm,
And that she's feeling insecure. She's made comments about it, tried to reassure, doesn't matter. It's how she feels in her body. I've definitely felt uncomfortable in my body before to the point where it's like go like I also don't want to go out, you know?
yeah.
It's hard. But then thinking that like things can continue as normal as far as, you know, sharing when they find someone attractive and stuff and like not reading the room is just this like kind of dumb male ignorance of, well, you told me and we used to do this, but yet you still can acknowledge how she is right now. So things aren't the same. And why can't you put those puzzle pieces together to see maybe now is not the time for me to share this? And
Mm,
maybe now is the time to see that my pregnant fiance probably needs me to be at home with her because she's upset, even though
yeah.
she said, go have fun. So, like, I want to say yes, he is the asshole, but I also, not knowing this person, like, are you just a dummy who really can't, who you just can't, oh, you're so dumb. You're just poor, sweet dummy. You can't actually put the puzzle pieces together because you're not smart enough. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm conflicted about it because it's like when you said the title, I initially thought that he was like, "Oh, I've been cheating on you," when he hasn't. You know, that's what I was expecting.
Mm,
But it was more just like he just was so clueless and naive about these cues she was directly sending him and kind of indirectly sending him.
yeah. I think there's also a difference between saying a stranger's hot and saying
Someone that you
you're.
spend time with. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a difference in that and is likely to cause insecurities even when someone isn't outrageously hormonal and 32
Mhm.
weeks pregnant.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess she really cared when she actually kind of observed something that maybe she was hypersensitive to and maybe wouldn't have minded as much under other
Mm,
circumstances, but because of how she was feeling, it meant more to her, you know?
exactly.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. If that person walking down the street is attractive versus my best friend's girlfriend that I see on a weekly basis is attractive.
yeah.
Yeah, there is a difference there, I
Sort
think.
of different. And also, just FYI, if like your pregnant girlfriend turns around to you and says, "No, it's fine,"
It is not fine, dear listener.
yeah, that is a sign that things are not fine. Okay, we talk in riddles. That's
Yeah.
how we approach life.
And maybe we need to be more direct and honest with our
Yeah.
communication. I agree. But
Yes.
also, she truly maybe was really just hoping that whether or not she thought it was fine and he should go, that he would not. It's a test of
Yeah.
sorts. I get it.
Mm.
But also didn't want to ruin a night because we're the cool, fun girls.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're super cool. You can do
Mhm.
whatever you want. I don't mind. Oh, you're cheating on me. It's absolutely fine. I don't mind.
Oh, it's our 10th anniversary and you want to go watch the football match. That's fine. I'll just wear this dress and do the dishes.
Like a good little girlfriend. I'm totally cool.
Mhm.
Don't worry about it.
Mhm. I don't know. You so asshole, maybe a little asshole.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of an asshole. I mean, I get that he didn't clock onto it because of their previous dynamic, and that's how they usually, talk about people. But as you say, he did not read the room and
Mm-mm.
should have considered her insecurities and the fact that she's super hormonal and that it's also his friend's girlfriend who he spends a lot of time with. So,
Mhm.
yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So now you need to, I don't know, like get her a massage. That's good for pregnant women because it hurts to carry your baby. And, you know, like make her feel good.
Yeah.
Like you got some work to do, bruh.
Yeah, man, she's carrying your spawn. So prepare yourself for
Mm-hmm.
the rest of your life.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, another problem solved. Fixed a man, helped a woman, took some ownership of her own shit.
Yeah.
Really good episode, I think.
Mm. Once again, we've learnt a lot about
Yeah,
ourselves, about other people.
grown. Mm.
We've given advice, and yeah, as you say, we've grown into better people. Every day's a school day, folks.
Indeed, I can't wait for summer break when I don't have to learn anymore.
God, I'd love 6 weeks off, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Adult
I would
summer
actually.
holiday. Shouldn't they just do that
Mhm.
every few years? Just be like, yeah, summer holidays are out.
Everyone gets the summer off. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
be really curious to see what the world looked like when that happened. But yeah, I mean, I
Probably
wouldn't question it.
so much happier and so much more
True,
relaxed.
true. Gemma for president.
I would not do that job. No, thank you.
No, hard pass.
No, hard pass on that one. Well, look, guys, if you would like to, please send us in your embarrassing first dates, terrible first dates, or even wonderful first dates. Let's get some
Hmm.
wholesome shit on here.
Yeah, that's true.
We'd really like to hear them. If you also are wondering whether you've been an asshole in a situation and want us to help you out with our incredible advice, we can also do that.
Hmm.
And if you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at
Two.
talkshittous@gmail.com. I doubted myself halfway through saying that then. I was like, I had it all going, and then I was like,
Yeah, I was thinking, oh,
what
she's
is
got
it?
it this time.
Nearly. It was close. So
Talk shit
talk
to us.
at gmail.com.
Yeah.
That was
Boop,
me
boop.
doing an American accent. I don't know if you.
Oh, I thought I was saying it.
Yeah. Just don't want to confuse anyone who's listening. Or get in contact with us on social media at TSYB Pod on Twitter, which X, whatever that's called now,
Oh, yeah.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and TikTok.
TikTok.
Tack tack. Tickety
Tack.
tickety tock tack. TikTok? TikTok.
I don't even know anymore. I'm
I
a
don't
geriatric
know.
millennial. I
I'm so
can't
old.
read. Everything is so different.
MySpace. Bebo.
Yep. Oh, I don't know. Oh, wait, we talked about that last time, right? With the little people.
No, Bebo was like a MySpacey thing.
We didn't have that.
Oh, poor you.
We had LiveJournal, MySpace,
Never heard of a live journal.
AIM. It literally was just you blog post.
Yeah.
So you could Google people's diaries, which seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah, seems pretty invasive.
Yeah. I don't
Your
know why we
stalker would
would
have
do that
enjoyed
for
that
someone.
though. So.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Hmm.
Mm.
Maybe I'll read you some of his story because I have it. Off air, though.
Yes, off air.
All right. Well, until next time.
Until next time, toodaloo.
Ta-ta. Bye.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Auf Wiedersehen. Good day.